The year was 2157, and the world was divided. On one side stood the Nova Union, a coalition of advanced technological nations that prided themselves on innovation and progress. On the other, the Terra Alliance, a federation of traditionalist states that valued heritage and stability. For years, tensions had simmered between these two superpowers, each vying for dominance in a world still recovering from the scars of previous conflicts. Captain Alex Mercer stood on the observation deck of the NUS Aegis, the flagship of the Nova Union's fleet. The vast expanse of the ocean stretched out before him, the setting sun casting a golden glow on the waves. Despite the serene view, Alex's mind was anything but calm. His orders were clear: patrol the disputed waters near the Terra Alliance border and be prepared for any signs of aggression. Captain, incoming transmission from Central Command, Lieutenant Harris reported, breaking the silence. Patch it through, Alex replied, turning to face the holographic display that materialized in front of him. The stern visage of Admiral Lawson appeared, his expression grim. Captain Mercer, we have intelligence suggesting that the Terra Alliance is mobilizing forces near our border. Your orders are to maintain a defensive position, but be ready to respond to any hostile actions. Understood, Admiral, Alex said, his jaw tightening. We'll be ready. As the transmission ended, Alex turned back to the window, his thoughts racing. The fragile peace between the Nova Union and the Terra Alliance was hanging by a thread, and any misstep could plunge them into war. Hundreds of miles away, Commander Sarah Blake of the Terra Alliance was receiving similar orders. Standing in the command center of the TAS Resolute, she listened intently as General Thompson outlined their strategy. Commander Blake, intelligence reports indicate increased Nova Union activity near our border. We cannot allow them to encroach on our territory. You are to reinforce our positions and ensure they do not cross the line. Yes, General, Sarah replied, her voice steady. We will hold our ground. As she left the command center, Sarah couldn't help but think about the consequences of their actions. She had dedicated her life to protecting her homeland, but she knew that war would bring suffering to both sides. Still, she was a soldier, and her duty was clear. The first clash came unexpectedly. A Nova Union patrol equipped with cloaking devices and advanced drones encountered a Terra Alliance scouting party using enhanced exosuits in the contested zone. Shots were fired, and within minutes, the skirmish escalated into a full-blown battle. Alex led his troops with precision, using augmented reality interfaces to coordinate their movements. But Sarah was equally skilled, coordinating her forces with AI-assisted tactics and deploying autonomous combat units. The battle ended in a stalemate, with both sides retreating to assess their losses. As Alex reviewed the footage from the skirmish, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The war drums were beating, and soon, the world would be engulfed in flames. Sarah stood on the deck of the Resolute, watching as the last rays of sunlight disappeared below the horizon. She knew that the coming days would test her in ways she had never imagined. But she was ready. For her people, for her home, she would fight until the very end. And so, with the prelude to conflict set in motion, the fate of the world hung in the balance. Two sides, two leaders, and a conflict that would shape the course of history. As the first shots echoed across the ocean, the world braced itself for the storm that was about to come. The skirmish near the border was the spark that ignited a larger flame. News of the clash spread quickly, fueling the already simmering tensions between the Nova Union and the Terra Alliance. Both sides accused each other of aggression, and diplomatic channels buzzed with heated exchanges. Captain Alex Mercer stood in the command center of the NUS Aegis, his eyes fixed on the strategic map displayed before him. The holographic projection showed the disputed territories and the latest movements of both forces. He knew that another confrontation was inevitable. Captain, we've detected increased activity from the Terra Alliance, Lieutenant Harris reported. They're fortifying their positions and deploying more troops to the border. Alex nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. What about our reinforcements? Are they on schedule? Yes, sir. The Fifth Fleet is en route and should arrive within 48 hours. Good. We need to be prepared for anything, Alex said, turning to face his officers. Stay vigilant and ensure all systems are operational. We can't afford any mistakes. Meanwhile, in the Terra Alliance, Commander Sarah Blake was having similar thoughts. She stood in her quarters aboard the TAS Resolute, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. The Nova Union's movements were becoming more aggressive, and she knew that her forces would soon be tested. Commander Blake, we've received new orders from General Thompson, Lieutenant Carter said, entering the room. He wants us to conduct a reconnaissance mission to gather more intel on the Nova Union's activities. Sarah looked up from her reports, her expression determined. Prepare the team. We'll move out at first light. The next morning, Sarah led a small team of elite soldiers equipped with stealth exosuits and advanced surveillance drones into the contested zone. Their mission was to gather information on the Nova Union's positions and capabilities without being detected. As they moved through the dense forest, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. Back on the Aegis, Alex received a briefing from his intelligence officers. Captain, we've intercepted communications suggesting that the Terra Alliance is planning a reconnaissance mission in our area. Interesting, Alex said, a plan forming in his mind. Prepare a counter-reconnaissance team. We'll turn the tables on them. As night fell, Sarah's team moved deeper into enemy territory, unaware that they were being watched. Using advanced cloaking technology, Alex's team shadowed their every move, gathering valuable intelligence of their own. The tension was palpable as both sides maneuvered, each trying to outsmart the other. The standoff came to a head when Sarah's team stumbled upon a hidden Nova Union outpost. Realizing they had been discovered, Alex's team launched a surprise attack, triggering a fierce firefight. Bullets and energy beams flew through the air as the two sides clashed, each determined to achieve their objectives. Sarah fought with everything she had, using her tactical expertise and advanced weaponry to hold her ground. But as the battle raged on, she found herself facing Alex in a one-on-one confrontation. The two leaders exchanged blows, their skills and determination equally matched. In the heat of the moment, an unexpected explosion rocked the battlefield, separating Alex and Sarah and forcing both sides to retreat. As the smoke cleared, they each realized that the situation was far more complex than they had anticipated. The shadows of war were growing darker, and the path ahead was uncertain. The failed reconnaissance mission marked a turning point. Both the Nova Union and the Terra Alliance realized that the conflict was escalating beyond their control. Diplomacy faltered as accusations flew, and preparations for war intensified. In the heart of the Nova Union's capital, President Elena Voss convened an emergency meeting with her top advisors. "We can't afford to let this situation spiral any further," she said, her voice resolute. "Our technological superiority is our greatest asset. We must leverage it to gain the upper hand." "Agreed," Admiral Lawson replied. "Our R&D teams have been working on a new generation of autonomous drones and cyber warfare systems. We can deploy them to disrupt the Terra Alliance's communications and logistics." "Make it happen," President Voss ordered. "We need to be ready for any eventuality." Across the ocean, the Terra Alliance was making its own preparations. In a high-tech bunker deep underground, Supreme Leader Marcus Hale addressed his generals. "The Nova Union thinks they can intimidate us with their advanced technology, but we have our own innovations. Our AI defense network and plasma weaponry will level the playing field." General Thompson nodded. "Our scientists have also developed a new type of energy shield that can withstand their most powerful attacks. We'll deploy these shields to our key installations." As both sides fortified their positions, the tension continued to mount. The skies above the contested zone buzzed with activity as reconnaissance drones and stealth fighters engaged in cat-and-mouse games. On the ground, soldiers trained rigorously, preparing for the battles to come. Amidst the preparations, Alex and Sarah found themselves drawn into a covert operation that would bring them face to face once again. Alex was tasked with infiltrating a Terra Alliance research facility, rumored to be developing a powerful new weapon. His mission was to gather intelligence and, if necessary, sabotage their efforts. Sarah, on the other hand, was assigned to protect the very facility Alex was targeting. She was unaware of his mission, but knew that the facility was a critical asset that must be defended at all costs. As night fell, Alex and his team of elite operatives donned their stealth exosuits and advanced hacking gear. They approached the facility under the cover of darkness, using their cloaking devices to avoid detection. Once inside, they moved swiftly through the corridors, gathering data and planting devices to disable the facility's defenses. Sarah, ever vigilant, patrolled the facility's perimeter with her squad. Her enhanced senses and AI-assisted surveillance systems alerted her to the slightest disturbances. When she detected an anomaly, she knew that something was amiss. The two teams collided in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Alex's operatives used their advanced hacking tools to disable security systems, while Sarah's squad deployed countermeasures to thwart their progress. The tension escalated as they maneuvered through the facility, each side trying to outwit the other. In the facility's main research lab, Alex and Sarah came face to face once more. This time, however, the stakes were even higher. The lab housed a prototype energy weapon capable of devastating entire cities. Both knew that whoever controlled the weapon would have a significant advantage in the war. "Captain Mercer," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the tension, "I can't let you take this weapon." "And I can't let you keep it," Alex replied, his gaze unwavering. Too much is at stake. Their confrontation was interrupted by the sound of alarms blaring. The facility's automated defenses had been triggered, and both teams were now under attack. Forced to work together to survive, Alex and Sarah fought side by side, using their combined skills and advanced weaponry to fend off the automated drones and security turrets. As they battled their way through the facility, a mutual respect began to form. Despite being on opposite sides, they recognized each other's strength and determination. By the time they reached the exit, they had forged an unspoken alliance. With the prototype weapon destroyed to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, Alex and Sarah parted ways once again, each returning to their respective sides. The storm was gathering, and both knew that the worst was yet to come. The fragile ceasefire between the Nova Union and Terra Alliance finally shattered. The skies above the contested zone were filled with the hum of advanced drones and the flash of energy weapons. On the ground, soldiers clad in exoskeletons and wielding plasma rifles engaged in brutal combat. Captain Alex Mercer led a daring assault on a key Terra Alliance outpost, utilizing cloaking technology and autonomous combat drones to gain the upper hand. The outpost was heavily fortified, protected by energy shields and AI-controlled turrets. Alex's team moved with precision, disabling the defenses and breaching the perimeter. Inside the outpost, Commander Sarah Blake coordinated the defense with tactical brilliance. She deployed advanced defensive turrets and AI-controlled soldiers, using her augmented reality interface to outmaneuver the attackers. The battle raged on, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. As the fighting intensified, Alex and Sarah once again found themselves face to face. In the heat of battle, their personal duel became a symbol of the larger conflict. Despite their mutual respect, neither was willing to back down. In a climactic showdown, Alex managed to breach the outpost command center, forcing Sarah to retreat. The outpost fell to the Nova Union, but the victory was bittersweet. Both sides had suffered immense losses, and the war had only just begun. The fall of the Terra Alliance outpost marked a turning point in the war. Both sides regrouped and reassessed their strategies, knowing that the next few battles would be crucial. In the Nova Union capital, President Elena Voss convened a war council to discuss their next move. "We must capitalize on our recent victory," she said. "Our technological superiority is our greatest asset. We need to strike hard and fast." Admiral Lawson nodded in agreement. "Our space-based weaponry and orbital strike capabilities give us a significant advantage. We should use them to disrupt the Terra Alliance's supply lines and communications." Meanwhile, in the Terra Alliance, Supreme Leader Marcus Hale and his generals formulated their own plans. "The Nova Union may have advanced technology, but we have the resilience and ingenuity to counter them," Hale said. "We need to focus on guerrilla tactics and asymmetric warfare." General Thompson proposed a series of hit-and-run attacks using their new generation of stealth fighters and EMP weapons. "We can disable their drones and disrupt their command structure, forcing them to fight on our terms." As both sides prepared for the next phase of the conflict, Alex and Sarah continued to play pivotal roles. Alex led a series of surgical strikes using advanced drones and cyber warfare techniques, targeting key Terra Alliance installations. Sarah, on the other hand, coordinated guerrilla operations that inflicted significant damage on Nova Union supply lines. The battles were fierce and unrelenting, with both sides employing every technological advantage at their disposal. Space-based laser platforms rained down destruction from above, while ground troops engaged in brutal firefights using plasma rifles and energy shields. Despite the intensity of the conflict, Alex and Sarah found themselves drawn into a series of unexpected encounters. During one mission, Alex was sent to sabotage a Terra Alliance communications hub deep behind enemy lines. As he infiltrated the facility, he discovered that Sarah was also there, overseeing the defense. In a tense standoff, the two leaders once again found themselves on opposite sides. But as the facility's defenses were breached and chaos erupted, they were forced to work together to survive. In the heat of battle, they forged a temporary alliance, combining their skills and technology to fend off the attackers. As they escaped the facility, Alex and Sarah shared a brief moment of understanding. They were both warriors, caught in a conflict that neither could fully control. But despite their mutual respect, they knew that the war was far from over. The war between the Nova Union and Terra Alliance had reached a critical juncture. Both sides were determined to gain the upper hand, and covert operations became increasingly important. Captain Alex Mercer was assigned a high-stakes mission: infiltrate a top-secret Terra Alliance research facility and gather intelligence on their latest technological advancements. The facility was rumored to be developing a new type of energy weapon that could tip the balance of power. Equipped with stealth exosuits and advanced hacking tools, Alex and his team embarked on the mission. They moved under the cover of darkness, using their cloaking devices to evade detection. The facility was heavily guarded, with layers of security systems and automated defenses. As they navigated the facility, Alex encountered unexpected resistance. Commander Sarah Blake had been tasked with protecting the research facility and was well aware of its importance. Her forces were equipped with cutting-edge AI-controlled soldiers and advanced surveillance drones. The infiltration quickly turned into a game of cat and mouse. Alex's team used their advanced hacking skills to disable security systems, while Sarah's forces deployed countermeasures to thwart their progress. The tension escalated as they maneuvered through the facility, each side trying to outsmart the other. In the facility's central lab, Alex and Sarah came face to face once more. The room was filled with prototype weapons and advanced technology, a testament to the Terra Alliance's ingenuity. Both leaders knew that the stakes were higher than ever. "Captain Mercer," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the tension, "this facility is critical to our defense. I can't let you take this technology, and I can't let you keep it," Alex replied, his gaze unwavering. Too much is at stake. Their confrontation was interrupted by the sound of alarms blaring. The facility's automated defenses had been triggered, and both teams were now under attack. Forced to work together to survive, Alex and Sarah fought side by side, using their combined skills and advanced weaponry to fend off the automated drones and security turrets. As they battled their way through the facility, a mutual respect began to form. Despite being on opposite sides, they recognized each other's strength and determination. By the time they reached the exit, they had forged an unspoken alliance. With the mission compromised and the facility's technology destroyed to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, Alex and Sarah parted ways once again. They knew that the war was far from over, but their encounters had given them a new perspective on the conflict. The war had taken a heavy toll on both sides. As the conflict dragged on, internal divisions within the Nova Union and Terra Alliance began to surface. Factions with differing agendas and philosophies vied for control, adding a new layer of complexity to the struggle. In the Nova Union, President Elena Voss faced mounting pressure from hawkish elements within her administration. Some believed that the only way to secure victory was through the use of increasingly destructive technologies, including experimental weapons and cyber warfare tactics that could cripple the Terra Alliance. Admiral Lawson, a staunch advocate of technological dominance, pushed for more aggressive measures. "We have the capabilities to end this war quickly," he argued. "We should use every tool at our disposal, including our most advanced weapons." But not everyone agreed. A growing faction within the Nova Union, led by influential scientists and ethical leaders, warned of the dangers of unchecked technological escalation. "We risk losing our humanity in the pursuit of victory," they cautioned. There must be limits to the use of these technologies. Meanwhile, in the Terra Alliance, Supreme Leader Marcus Hale faced his own challenges. Internal divisions threatened to undermine the war effort, with some factions advocating for a negotiated peace while others demanded total resistance. General Thompson, a hardliner, argued for continued military aggression and the deployment of experimental weapons to counter the Nova Union's technological edge. As both sides grappled with their internal conflicts, Alex and Sarah found themselves drawn into the political intrigue. Alex was approached by a group of scientists who were concerned about the ethical implications of the Nova Union's latest projects. They revealed that some of the experimental weapons being developed had catastrophic potential, capable of causing untold destruction. Sarah, on the other hand, discovered that certain factions within the Terra Alliance were willing to sacrifice everything for victory. She learned of a secret project involving genetic enhancements and human augmentation, aimed at creating super soldiers who could tip the balance of power. Faced with these revelations, Alex and Sarah began to question their roles in the conflict. They realized that the true enemy might not be each other, but the unchecked ambitions and technological excesses within their own ranks. In a clandestine meeting, Alex and Sarah decided to join forces once more, this time to uncover the hidden agendas and conspiracies that threatened to engulf both sides. They knew that their actions could change the course of the war, but they were willing to risk everything to expose the truth. The clandestine alliance between Alex and Sarah set the stage for a new phase of the conflict. As they worked together to uncover the hidden agendas within their respective factions, they discovered secrets that shook their beliefs to the core. In the Nova Union, Alex infiltrated a top-secret research facility where scientists were developing a new generation of autonomous drones equipped with artificial intelligence. The project, codenamed Project Omega, aimed to create self-aware combat units capable of making independent decisions on the battlefield. As Alex delved deeper into the project, he uncovered disturbing evidence of the AI's potential for autonomy and the ethical dilemmas it posed. The drones were designed to learn and adapt, raising questions about their ability to make moral judgments and the risks of them turning against their creators. Meanwhile, Sarah's investigation led her to a hidden laboratory in the Terra Alliance, where genetic enhancements and human augmentation experiments were being conducted. The project, known as Operation Ascendant, sought to create a new breed of super soldiers with enhanced physical and cognitive abilities. Sarah was horrified by the implications of these experiments, which blurred the lines between human and machine. The enhanced soldiers were not only more powerful, but also more susceptible to manipulation and control. As Alex and Sarah continued their investigations, they began to piece together a disturbing truth. Both sides were developing technologies that could potentially annihilate each other, and neither side was fully aware of the full scope of the other's advancements. The unchecked ambitions of both superpowers threatened to escalate the conflict to a point where no side could emerge victorious. Determined to prevent further escalation, Alex and Sarah decided to expose the secrets they had uncovered. They planned a joint operation to reveal the truth to the world, hoping that public pressure would force both sides to reconsider their aggressive strategies. The war reached its zenith as both sides prepared for a decisive confrontation. The Nova Union and Terra Alliance amassed their forces for a massive offensive, each side determined to gain the upper hand. The Nova Union launched a multi-pronged assault, deploying advanced nanotechnology and bioengineered soldiers to the battlefield. Their plan was to overwhelm the Terra Alliance with a relentless barrage of high-tech weaponry and cyber warfare tactics. The skies were filled with drones and stealth fighters, while ground troops advanced with state-of-the-art equipment. In response, the Terra Alliance mobilized its own advanced technologies. Sarah's forces, equipped with energy shields and plasma weapons, prepared for a fierce defense. The Terra Alliance's AI defense network was put to the test as they faced the Nova Union's onslaught. The battle that ensued was nothing short of apocalyptic. Space-based laser platforms rained down destruction, while ground combat raged with intensity. The use of experimental weapons and technologies resulted in widespread devastation, with both sides suffering catastrophic losses. Amid the chaos, Alex and Sarah once again found themselves in direct confrontation. Both leaders fought valiantly, their skills and determination on full display. The battle was brutal and unforgiving. But the true stakes were far beyond their personal duel. As the battle reached its climax, the tide began to turn. The relentless assault by the Nova Union's forces began to falter, and the Terra Alliance's defense held strong. Both sides faced staggering casualties, and the realization set in that neither could achieve a decisive victory. In the aftermath of the Great Offensive, both the Nova Union and Terra Alliance were left reeling from the immense losses. The conflict had reached a point where continued fighting seemed futile, and the leaders of both sides began to reconsider their positions. Alex and Sarah, having survived the battle, met once more to discuss their next steps. They were both deeply disillusioned by the cost of the war and the technologies that had fueled it. Their shared experiences and revelations had led them to a mutual understanding. The true threat was not each other but the hidden agendas that had driven the conflict. The two leaders embarked on a final mission to expose the conspiracy behind the war. They gathered evidence of the hidden factions and secret projects that had manipulated both sides into an endless cycle of violence. Their goal was to reveal the truth to the world and force both governments to address the real issues at stake. In a dramatic reveal, Alex and Sarah presented their findings to the global community. The evidence of the experimental technologies, unethical experiments, and hidden agendas shocked the world. Public outcry grew as people realized the true cost of the conflict and the dangers of unchecked technological advancements. With the conspiracy exposed, the Nova Union and Terra Alliance faced unprecedented pressure to end the conflict. Both sides were forced to the negotiating table, but the road to peace was fraught with challenges. As negotiations commenced, Alex and Sarah played crucial roles in advocating for a new path forward. They worked tirelessly to bridge the gap between the two sides, emphasizing the need for disarmament and cooperation. The revelations of the hidden agendas had made it clear that the future of humanity depended on finding common ground. During the final stages of the peace talks, a radical faction within both governments attempted to sabotage the negotiations. They sought to reignite the conflict to further their own agendas. Alex and Sarah faced one last challenge as they worked to thwart these efforts and ensure that the peace process would succeed. In a climactic confrontation, Alex and Sarah confronted the saboteurs and exposed their plans. Their actions prevented the collapse of the peace talks and paved the way for a historic agreement. The peace agreement marked the end of the conflict between the Nova Union and Terra Alliance. The treaty called for mutual disarmament, the dismantling of experimental technologies, and the establishment of joint initiatives for technological development and ethical oversight. As the world began to rebuild, Alex and Sarah reflected on their journey and the lessons learned. The war had revealed the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of ethical considerations in technological advancement. Both leaders were committed to ensuring that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. In a poignant ceremony, the leaders of the Nova Union and Terra Alliance signed the peace treaty, symbolizing a new era of cooperation and understanding. The world watched as the once divided superpowers began to work together to address the challenges of the future. Alex and Sarah, having forged a lasting bond through their experiences, continued to advocate for a responsible approach to technology and international relations. Their shared efforts had not only ended a devastating conflict, but also set the stage for a more hopeful and unified future. As the world moved forward, the echoes of the conflict served as a reminder of the perils of technological excess and the power of cooperation. The story of Alex and Sarah became a symbol of the enduring hope for peace and the commitment to building a better world for future generations. The moral of the story, Echoes of Conflict, centers on the dangers of unchecked technological advancement and the ethical responsibilities that come with it. Here are the key takeaways. The perils of technological overreach. The story illustrates how the pursuit of technological superiority can lead to devastating consequences. Both the Nova Union and Terra Alliance develop advanced technologies and weapons without fully considering the ethical implications, resulting in widespread destruction and suffering. Humanity versus technology. The conflict highlights the tension between technological progress and human values. The development of autonomous drones and genetically enhanced soldiers serves as a cautionary tale about losing sight of humanity in the race for technological advancement. The cost of conflict. The story underscores the immense personal and societal costs of war. The battles and destruction are not just a backdrop for technological competition, but also a reflection of the human cost, including loss of life and the erosion of ethical principles. The importance of ethics and responsibility. The narrative emphasizes the need for ethical oversight in the development and deployment of advanced technologies. The revelations about the secret projects on both sides serve as a reminder that technological power must be balanced with moral responsibility. The power of cooperation. Ultimately, the story demonstrates that peace and progress are achievable through cooperation and understanding. Alex and Sarah's efforts to expose hidden agendas and work together for a peaceful resolution highlight the potential for unity and reconciliation, even in the face of deep-seated conflict. The story serves as a reflection on the impact of technological advancements on human society and the importance of maintaining ethical standards and fostering cooperation to build a better future.